That circle, you know, we have our engaged supports, you know, for all of this year, and now we're just back to 2023, where it was just picking Lucian Nami into Caitlyn Karma into taking a bit of a beating here from Xiaoya and YCX. The problem is, though, is that they're not actually getting any of this CS, and now Xiaohao, who's level 3, already forcing YCX to half HP. They're gonna go for the dive. They say lane swaps be damned. They're going for it anyway. ZDZ just gonna int here for first blood to go over to LGD, but they're gonna be able to trade it right back. A 1-for-1, plus they burn Sasa's teleport as he goes down here. I say that's very worth it for Karma lane, which has so much poke, and now potentially look for another dive here onto Sasa. They're gonna try to do some damage here on. Almost has enough as Wink takes another tower shot, but now here's Xiaohao once again. This Rumble's not having a good time whatsoever. The audacious charge comes through, and EDG go 2-for-1, and Xiaohao will survive.
That's really impressive.
Forced him to get a flash out, and now that with Angel not here, it's a little bit of a win back for LGD, but I think overall EDG very happy with where this game state is. The problem is that ZDZ is not getting a lot of farm, but he's soaking up XP. He's doing all right, and most importantly, Xiaoya and YCX haven't really picked up any plates
just yet.
Get that
first push over towards these grubs. Honestly, getting grubs onto a composition that has a Caitlyn always going to be nice too. So it's not the end of the world, right? LGD haven't fallen massively far behind. I think the gold. Wow, just one tap. Okay, never mind. I didn't think the ZDZ was just going to go down there, but, you know, clearly wrong.
And this coming through, but now, with Nio actually joining, I think LGD might be able to get this first tower. The problem is the wave is about to go down here, but it's not going to matter. So first tower will go over to LGD. They actually win out on things by having more people on that top side of the map.
People, and the Caitlyn already does a little bit of tower damage, despite the fact that it's very early on into the game. And EDG, they initiate this swap, and they've made it work for themselves in that they get
you know, the map being split towards the top side in favor of LGD. They were able to get 3 of those grubs, and having 6 grubs on a Caitlyn is going to definitely feel good. So I feel like LGD want to maybe focus their attention towards the top side of the map, especially if it means you can get a kill here onto ZDZ. He has to use the Unstoppable Onslaught, but it gets blocked up. They don't even have to use the Impale. They can just pick up the Feats of Warfare and take ZDZ down for the 3rd time. It's a bad time.
Into a Drake. Nothing that you can do here as EDG to stop this one. So throughout the early game, despite the fact that EDG initiate the shenanigans, it's still going to be LGD coming out on top. Small gold lead and more of the objectives to them.
And you know what, I respect it, right? You're not over the map just yet for the next couple of minutes, but that cooldown always can be a little bit good for trying to find opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, looks like EDG might have found one here onto Sasa. Already used the equalizer, but it's not going to be enough to try and take down either of Xiaohao or ZDZ in a 1v2.
We've got Lucian Nami, because this is a bot lane that is designed to win in its lane, get really far ahead during the early 10 minutes of the game, and then just exert your will.
One kill onto the Rumble here or there too, but the leads haven't really fully been generated just yet. And now LGD stacking 5 members here in the mid lane to try to burst some damage onto this tier 1 tower. Already the culling has been used from On. And everybody on LGD is still full HP. The redemption from YCX doing a ton to keep everyone nice and healthy.
And then move down towards the bottom lane.
They take On down pretty low. Equalizer on top. So much long-range damage on Lucian, who again does not have that ultimate. Only has a flash available. Here comes the Tidal Wave and the Weaver's Wall. And EDG going for the full engage. Decimating Smash lands onto 2. Sauce at full HP. Xiaoya relatively low, but he's far enough away from the rest of the team to make sure that there's no additional follow-up damage that can come through from EDG. So no blood is shed, but the tower in the mid lane does not fall for LGD. And now the Rift Herald is spawned in the mid lane. Now going into that bot lane tower. Not going to be enough to take it fully down just yet. And will LGD want to go back for another play? Looks like they will. Nio dashing in, forcing the flash away from ZDZ. And it just will be the tower going down in the mid lane for Edward Gaming.
Oh, really unfortunate that LGD's tower
just... for either team, as it is a Mountain Soul across the Rift. EDG now in the pit first. Culling comes out immediately onto YCX. Not going to do a ton of damage to put anybody at any lethal threat. The battle lines have been drawn here around the Mountain Drake. Xiaohao in the area to start things off. He has the first priority around the pit. Nio already using the Ixtal's impact. Not able to get into the pit just yet. Now he starts to approach. Weaver's Wall comes out. It's going to separate the bot lane from the rest of the team. And Io immediately goes down, but Sasa in the back line will take down On. Shut the Lucian down. He will go down in a trade, and it's a 4v3 across the map. Xiao has the smite advantage. Will be able to take away this dragon, and that will be secured here by EDG. But already ZDZ has fallen down, and Xiao still at full HP, using the 90 caliber net to try to escape. The Whippy comes lightning comes through from Xiao. They're going to finally try to take the Caitlyn down. 3 talent strike. plus another W is there, but Angel starts to
Oh!
come online, but Angel with a huge seismic shove gets himself a double kill and wins the fight for it. Might be the focus. A bit of a death brush though here.
Death brush? Oh, Link just used the bubble.
DDZ's on the face check. He's tanky, but is he tanky enough?
No.
Looks like he will get taken down very easily by XQW, so well executed play by LGD. They know that they cannot fight right now in a full 5v5, so they find a pick, and now we'll go over to the Otacon.
There's the other thing you can do with this composition. Picks are going to be relatively easy. Didn't even really need to use any of the big ultis in that one. More than enough to just have your Scion walk straight into the brush. It obviously would have been worse right here for EDG if any of their main carries had have stepped up, but still, losing out the Atakan right here, all of those petals going over. The trade is going to be a mid lane tier 2 tower. That's something. Now, On does have those 3 items completed, so is going to be hitting so hard. But once again, where is the Weaver's Wall going to be? Can you split the team fight up? So far, Angel, he's looking for it, you can see, but he's taking quite a lot of damage for his positioning.
They're still looking potentially to just try to finish off the dragon. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Nio tries to push Xiaoho away, using the impale to try to get the Xin Zhao out of the fight.
Oh, again!
But Nio taking too much damage,
Wait.
and Xiaoho's in!
Oh!
But the smite is secured by LGD. They pick up their second dragon of the game, and now EDG are on the run. Everybody at half HP or lower. And XQ, wins that big 5v5. Hasn't really been broken open. Even that ace that EDG got was a 5v3. That can really be the difference maker here. As Sasa once again getting caught out potentially. Xiaohao landing that 3-talent strike. And so that is going to be a pick here for EDG on the bottom side of the map. 4v5 across the map. Not going to be able to get anything.
Considering what the next set of moves are, and we'll see what the outcome of that is going to be.
And now these guys, they got to lock back in. So do Weeblox, Jeremy. We were talking about all these different stuff, and now we got a team fight all of a sudden. ZDZ coming forward, going to be immediately matched by a 3-man impale from Nio, but he's taking a whole lot of damage, and he'll get taken down by Xiaohao. So it's EDG forcing the initiatives. Is EDG going in with the unstoppable?
With no jungler, do you even want to take this fight?
Ooh, on taking a lot of damage. He might quickly run into XQW, and Sasa still alive. Pops the culling. Now XQW's in a lot of trouble. And On will take him down. Knockup lands onto Xiaoya. A 5v3 across the map, but the health bar still on LGD's side. Just a little bit, and Nio has respawned. So no Baron for the taking for EDG, and they will back away with just picking up 2 members.
And that's not the end of the world right there for LGD. The fact that you're able to stop that Baron from going down.
That could have got a lot worse for LGD. Man, that must be so demoralizing. You were in such a good position around that play. Then you got Chrono Breaked on. You lost your jungler. Lost your mid laner, and now you give up Mountain Soul points with Angel potentially looking for a play onto Nio, but now he's being caught out just a little bit. Another Sion ulti comes through, but Xiaoya will immediately flash away from it. The target, though, is XQW, and now Xiaohao will try to finish him off. On picks to kill the YCX, and it's a numbers advantage once again here for EDG. They find yet another pick off of just ZDZ pressing the go button, ulting down mid.
And now you've got this mid lane priority right here for EDG. They're going to be able to melt through this tower if they can actually get on top of it. Recall's having to come back through out of the LGD members to pull them back. So they are going to lose this inhibitor tower. The inhibitor may well also follow. That's going to be a massive pressure point right here for EDG. This is 2 fights in a row where, like you said, you just have to
walking
press
into this river right now. Doing a good job face checking just the slightest bit to force EDG back towards that mid lane. And we again await a big play around neutral objective or not. Now we've seen On dash forward very aggressively with these relentless pursuits, and sometimes that's come back to bite them a little bit. I think EDG has to be a little bit careful to make sure that doesn't happen. As I say that, Angel just weavers walls right in the middle of everybody, but it splits up Nio at the perfect opportunity. Gets knocked up by 2 spells at the same time. The tidal wave, the last one there. And On picks up the kill on Nio again. The EDG jungler is able to find the LGD counterpart.
The fact that you just get untapped through right there once again as the jungler. This is an untenable position right here as LGD. They're going to have to put on another Baron defense. And ZDZ currently in the mid lane, stopping any potential trade play where you push through the mid. It's going to make things that much harder to try play out. You do get to get a little bit close right here. Still got yourself a couple of key ultis available. This is tough though.
ZDC's teleporting in because he was getting cut off by the rest of LGD. It's still a 5v4 across the map. Nio respawning in 5 seconds, so no chance of a steal unless some miracle happens for LGD. The smite is secured by Xiaohao. 2 flashes are utilized, and EDG gonna get out scot-free.
Just saw right here, Xiaoya just picking out On, using the ulti, taking a chunk of health out of him. Well, if you're basically just having to get through a 3 Mountain Dragon Mountain Soul, that's way less effective. Nio.
On
Oh, he
going a little bit
misses!
far forward. He does not find the impale though, and he's completely singled out. However, Xiaohao also was trying to fight a 1v4, but On's able to pick up the kill on the jungler first. EDG dashing forward. XQW forced to flash away. EDG trying to chase down the remainder of LGD, but it's Nayo dying for the 3rd time in a row, Bloxer, and that means that the soul point is on the table now for EDG.
Yeah, this is going to be picked up here. You can't imagine that there's going to be an LGD fight back onto this one. And yes, Xiaohao could have even come through, but more than that, this is now the 3rd team fight in a row where XQW has not used the ulti. You have to use this. You currently are pressing the go button, initiating these fights here for EDG. EDG on the other end of this pause looks so good. Weaver's wall coming in.
And now Xayah is completely singled out at the flash over the Weaver's wall. Culling comes out, not too much damage just yet. The seismic shove only finds Nayo, but he uses it to try to close the gap on Xiaohao. The Xin Zhao could be in trouble. XQW tries to knock back 2 with the Shurima shuffle, and the first kill goes on to Xiaohao. LGD trying to find this fight, but Angel is still alive. Weak still full HP on the back line, and it's a 2-for-2 overall on the map. EDG almost found the fight they were looking for, but Angel's the one to try to save the day.
Yeah, I mean, LGD so close to turning that one around. They managed to pick up some key kills right here. Big shutdown onto Xiaohao. Big shutdown onto On, but the teleport coming straight back through right here from ZDZ, and they're going to continue this push. The mid lane inhibitor has respawned. They can take down this top lane. It's going to make it so hard to step out of the base. Now you've got to go in here.
Killing, though. Yeah, Angel could be in trouble right now, but the decimating smash is huge. It lands on a 2. YCX the first to fall. Angel finally will drop as Sasa will burn him down. And now ZDZ and Wink are on the run. And so LGD...
Elder Drake on the map.
But oh man, you can see just the glimpses of what this LGD composition can do if they can avoid these hard engages once again. Nayo once more singled out here by LGD, by EDG, and he's gonna go down instantly here in the fight. The seismic shove lands on YCX. He'll be the next to drop. It's a 3-for-0 already. Xiaoya getting singled up here by the Xin Zhao, and that's just gonna be a clean ace for EDG. Once again, Nayo the one to get caught out here for LGD, and EDG are the ones to pick up this first game of the series.
Never mind. EDG, they do not need a Baron. They do not need an Elder. They're just going to close this game out right here. A 40-minute banger back and forth with a tech pause right in the middle. But taking game number 1 here in a critical series for EDG. Winning this one gets them that much closer into the backline. Dive-based compositions, not exactly what this is, but can pair up well with the Rel and the Viego to go make the backline uncomfortable.
Very interesting
effect, but Xiaohao now looking for a gank mid.
Yeah, XQW gonna get flashed up upon Valkyrie already utilized. XQW knows that he's dead, not gonna burn that flash. And so Xiaohao will pick up first blood. EDG's jungler, and
he's gonna be able to pick that one up. If he wasn't able to grab that buff, that would have been completely terrible. Still though, you can just skirmish here, blow the flash at least out of Nayo.
But Sasa's going to be here first. Going to use that flash over the wall. Xiaohao going to be in trouble, and it's a response picked up here for LGD. But now ZDZ flashes forward. He's going to go to the skies on Anayo, who flashes over the wall. And now this Jace is in so much trouble, Blockstar. And LGD get 2 right back for free.
Yikes, over-aggression right there out of EDG. They thought they could...
issued by Sasa. But is EDG doing a good job trading back, actually is. Looks like he's not going to be in much trouble, as EDG will be able to secure themselves the first draft.
Drake gonna go over nice and easy, so the trade of the 3 grabs.
Doing that, so he's looking for little picks across the map, finding engages, finding On, going in with the right angles here. Doesn't look like it's gonna be right here at this position though, as bot lane turret getting taken relatively low in this situation. The Dragon up in less than a minute, Angel taking a beating. To both XQW and Xiaoya. Now a teleport comes in, so there comes that chaos. It's going to be ZDZ trying to join the fight, trying to cut off XQW, and he's been left out to dry by the rest of his team. Stunned up and taken down with ease.
Really nice teleport there. Found the angle. Going to be able to pick that kill up nice and easily. Now 30 seconds until the Drake is available. Can't quite turn around for them to engage onto a fight that was most definitely lost.
It's a very nice proactive play by EDG, knowing that they have to create numbers advantages at their own will. Especially at this point. Might find another one here on Nayo. Stun barely doesn't connect, but the Magnet Storm will. Nayo's taken down easily. And EDG get themselves the feats of warfare and a nice kill into the hands of Xiaohao.
Grabbing themselves another pick right there, and usually you'd expect a pick coming through from the Realm Warp. Didn't even need to use it. Just stepping up in this situation. LGD just not playing out this early game particularly effectively. Now here comes the Realm Warp in. Sasa is going to be able to jump away, not quite going to be able to use that one as effectively as you would otherwise want, but still, the pick, the Drake, EGD, going to be happy with that.
Now they're going to go back in here onto Angel. Sasa landing that first proc of the Cyclone. The Trinity Force has been a lot of damage onto the Rise. Wink just not going to be able to do anything to try and stop it. And so Angel will go down. Another kill goes towards the Wukong,
who do need it. But right now, Vision a little bit in the favor of EDG around this pit, at least forward into the back of it. Nio.
Looking for a pick on his EDZ. Nio already using the Lullaby in the Eve. His EDZ flashes away, and now a teleport comes in. It's going to be the Rise joining the fight, but already stuck in a bit of an awkward position. But so is XQW as Wink has come in here with the Magnet Storm. But Nio finding the first kill. The Solar Flare will stun up the Rel, and Nio picks himself yet another one. It is 3-0 LGD off of a beautiful fight on the top lane.
This is what LGD's composition wants to do once you can get a little bit of flank going. So very strong. YCX going to go in. Arn has to cleanse to get away from that one. At least preserves the flash. But that is easily going to mean the top lane tower goes over to LGD. And they can turn down onto the Rift Arrows involved in this fight. And just turn this one around. Wink goes down. And then they just keep pushing forwards, right? You flash forwards. Hang on, hang on.
Oh, XQW. He's very low right now. Zhao trying to collapse on top of him. Angel will finish off the kill, but is traded back by the Ignite of YCX to make it a 1-for-1. So mid laner for jungler overall. That is all that will be done across the map. As you see, LGD still have priority around this top side, so Sasa and Nio will be able to likely pick up this Rift Herald for free.
Only give away 4 kills right there. It hasn't exactly been the best couple of games so far out of XQW. We're struggling to find any of those ultis on the Azir in the previous game. It's been dying quite a lot in this game. In fact, it's all but one of his team's deaths so far. Really not ideal overall. But at the same time, this Corki will still deal a lot of damage.
Pick up first 2 Drakes, which means that there's no real threat of a soul stack early for LGD.
No, souls are going to come slowly here for LGD if they want to grab it. They need to grab themselves all 4 of these Cloud Drakes. To be fair, this is the sort of composition where some extra movement would be really helpful. You can imagine the speeds that Nio would be moving at. Mid lane tower going to be forced onto right here. Zhao Hao jumped.
Oh, already used a Heartbreaker, but he just still gets stunned up. Really nicely done by YCX. Look at the first kill for LGD. Curtain Call opened up. The engage from Wink to try to peel away. YCX might have gone a little bit too far forward, but he will live for so long and allow for Zhaoya to pick up a double kill. So the Jhin gets on the board. LGD pick up 3 more kills while only losing their support. They get the mid lane turret and they're looking for a tier 2.
Yeah, they're looking to push onto this tier 2 in both the mid and the bot lane. There's going to be a teleport coming down, but with all 6 of the grubs, Sasa is going to melt through this one. Mid lane tier 2 does fall. Bot lane tier 2 will as well. That's a huge amount of gold going into the end of the world, though. And something actually I wanted to mention, unless there's a fight. Yep, there's a fight as soon as we jump out. That Sasa just dead. Well,
just gets shut down. Not even that killer instinct used for On. I'm surprised that Sasa found himself in that situation without even burning the ultimate. Already 1 for nothing. However, on half HP, Angel procs the warm up to try to get his team away, but he gets stunned up before he can go and finish that teleportation. And so Nio will pick up the kill onto ZDZ. On also drops. It's a 2-for-1 overall for LGD, and they turn their eyes towards the Ravenous Otacon.
And this is the problem the EGD are running into, despite the fact that they have themselves this composition with the Rise. They're still late to a lot of these fights, not able to rotate across the map quickly enough before the rest of LGD are allowed to arrive. Atakan now going to go over to LGD. They're up by a good chunk of gold as well. And this game feeling quite a lot like LGD are going to be able to close this one out.
Top lane, a big target, as well as his inhibitor tower in the mid lane. On taking a big chunk of damage right now. And here comes the initial engage. Magnet Storm from Wink to try to peel away. It should be YCX at least getting the false revive. But look at the trade back here for LGD. The Lilting Lullaby connects. Realm Warp away from Angel to make sure On survives. But the force shot finds Wink. And Wink blinks and he's down. 2 for nothing already here for LGD as they get
got so little vision. I'd love to see a toggle to what they can see at the moment, because it's going to be a whole lot of nothing. YCX goes in.
Great screen here for ZDZ is what he's going to be seeing. As another really nice engage from YCX will find the pick. And now with the top laner of EDG dead, LGD can gladly start at this Baron, or even look for more. YCX again, this time finds Xiaohao. He's able to realm warp away. The 4th shot would have found the target. So LGD, will they go back to the Baron? It looks like the answer is yes. Now Xiao is at half HP, but he has the red buff in inventory. But Xiaohao is just so far away. Gonna have to try to go for some sort of miracle steal.
Yeah, I mean, you've currently got super minions in your base. Now the re-engage gonna come through.
Oh, Wink with a really nice Magnus Storm, but Sasa will come through with a Cyclone. Initially, the first kill on a Wink. Angel now on the run, but the phase rush not going to do enough. That's just a big shutdown, sorry. Goes the way of Xiaoya. And now it's 2 more kills in the hands of LGD. And they don't even need the Baron to just push down mid and try to end this game and send us to a decider.
Yeah, they want to send us to this game number 3. This is a massive game for both of these teams. LGD would lock getting out of Group Nirvana. EDG would lock themselves out of being knocked out right now.
I think this just might be it. The
it's
Nexus
over.
Tower is taking a beating right now. ZDZ down once again. The Nexus now exposed, and YCX leading the charge here for LGD. On to the Nexus they go. Just the bot lane alive for Edward Gaming, and they're not going to be for long.
In this situation, I think you want something aggressive. Mobile Zeri does pick the picture. It is very aggressive, though, to go towards the Zeri. I would imagine they'd want to play something a little bit less forward-thinking. Ooh, okay, the Civ are actually going to be the lock-in right here. Now, that leaves you in a bit of an interesting situation, where the top side of the map's gone flying into the back line, and you're not exactly going to be...
That is true. That's always the big relief. But...
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Not making it out of this group Nirvana feels so much less bad when the other option was not getting to play for the entire rest of the year. And this is what we were worried about, Rao. That Xiaohao was going to be able to turn this around into a Drake as well. 3 grubs, the first Drake, most of your enemies' camps too. This really is a masterclass of counter jungling, and they're getting pushed around just a little bit. Still, no kills yet in this game. 2,000 gold lead available for EDG. Next set of grubs going to be spawning in 30 seconds time, but this is not your jungle. Your jungle's not your jungle at this point, and actually, Xiaohao goes in.
We ult all the way over the wall here. Nio going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to Vault Breaker right back out. He'll be matched with a flash of Xiaohao, but Nio's now on the complete wrong side of the map. Xiaohao going to continue to try to chase him down.
Ooh.
That Q2 connects. The burn's not enough. Will Nio be able to escape this one? It's going to try to buy as much time as possible. There comes one more Q. It's First Blood in for EDG.
Nearly 12 minutes into the game for that First Blood to be able to spawn, but this is exactly one of the worst times possible to go down. That second set of grubs are now going to be... It's been very impressive from EDG.
And it's not necessarily the early games that we've really praised EDG for. In their games, in their series that they've won, it's been a lot of team fighting, obviously, as we mentioned. But Xiao specifically is having a great series so far. Specifically in their wins the next 2 minutes or so. Unless you want to fully fight for this Baron, Nio dashing forward, forcing Wing to back away. And so LGD get themselves a little bit more time in this one.
On the one hand, I understand why EDG have been a bit passive. Yes, your Neferi got ahead, but you've got yourself a Victor and an Ezreal. These are champions who would like to scale at least to the 2-item mark before really wanting to get involved. I mean, Ezreal does have a very hard 1-item spike, but he never really wants to play around that one. But you've also got yourself a Renekton in the top lane you could have potentially tried to bring to some of these skirmishes. EDG, they bullied Nio around during the laning phase. Yes, he's still down about 40 CS, but he's really not as far behind as he could have otherwise been. And EDG, it felt like they never were really comfortable to really push that advantage that they were able to get for themselves through that creative jungle pathing.
And it really, that's right now the entire gold lead. You take a look at what's on the bottom of your screen and what's on the top of your screen. It's about 1.3k in favor of EDG, and Xiao has about a 1.3k lead over Nio. They're going to try to change that here now in the mid lane. A beautifully executed public execution from Sasso. Pick up the first kill on Odd as LGD are finally on the board. They pick up the kill onto the enemy AD carry right as the Baron spawns, and they might be turning right towards it.
Yeah, why not head straight over onto this one? I mean, right here, without Arn being up and available, that's a ton of the damage for EDG just gone. They can still step up, though, and you do still have Xiaohao up and available. YCX actually going on the big flank. Here.
Now dashing forward, but remember, he doesn't have that ultimate, neither does Sasa right now, and that means the health bars could be bursted down. ZDZ forcing 2 resets already, flashes forward for a third, and XQW, the only one with a Voracious Autocon buff still alive. That's one real kill, combined with all the resets going down, as even though it doesn't look like it on the scoreboard, EDG get a big boon.
They really do. That's going to bring them out to about a 2k, nearly 3k gold lead. They can't turn it straight around into the Baron or anything though, and because those are false lives for the most part, it's just going to be these quick resets coming on through. I have to see what the item advantage you can get from that gold is going to be. Right now, it's just 2 items completed on the majority of these champions. We've also now got the very important Drake up and available. But this one, oh, it's just way over aggressive right here. Now, really has no right to be jumping this far into the backline, and as we talked about, right, the Arcane Storm over the top of multiple members throughout that fight really just wrecks things here for LGD. They're lucky they've got the false lives, but they're still giving over a lot of gold to EDG.
Now, LGD had a chance to get into that pit a little bit earlier because all of EDG had to go for resets after making those plays for the taking of the false lives. But now, Zhao's back on the Dragon Pit. It's going to be Soul unless Nio can get in there, so he's got to go in quick. At 4,000 HP in the Dragon Age, but Nio's already so low. And now EDG just have full opportunity to try to pick up the Soul. True Shot Barrage comes out. Finally, Nio going to try to get in, but it's already taken away by Zhao. That's Ocean Soul for EDG, and they finally collect the Feats of Warfare with 2 more kills in their pocket.
There we go. We're going to watch EDG just finally explode onto this game after they had been so passive, creative pathing in the early game into a passive mid game. But team fighting is EDG's bread and butter. Maybe they don't play the laning phase so well, but yes, this team knows how to team fight. And now, Wink, Angel, they're going to play bodyguard and make sure there's no way that Nio can step up and potentially get involved in this Baron play. Baron going down relatively slowly with only 2 members attacking it. Still, there's no path forwards for the buy. You think? Hang on. No flash. Does he have another Vault Breaker?
XQW's looking here as well. Nio gonna be a hero.
Oh!
No, 10 HP. The Baron was at, but it gets picked up by Edward Gaming. On takes down Nio. ZDZ pops to Dominus to stay alive. And XQW and Xiaoya now have to run on out of there as the Baron buffs in all 5 hands of EDG, and they're going to try to make you push down here onto this mid lane turret. Arcane shift forward on, throwing out some mixed shots, and they're not even going to go for the resets. They just want to continue to force down the base.
Yeah,
Xiao jumps over the wall. They can try to look a little bit further onto XQW. There's the call to pack. No, but Xiao goes a little bit too far forward, but the intargetable means he's able to escape. EDG potentially with highway robbery and XQW trying to make a play. Flash charm onto Angel, does not find a damn thing, and Edward Gaming will get out scot-free with Baron in their hands.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take these quick resets and then
coming out. He has been forcibly and systematically eliminated from this game's impact at all. Nio has been able to do almost nothing here in game number 3, which should be the decider, should be the clincher for LGD to confirm themselves a spot in the play-in, but it's EDG spoiling their opportunity here and continuing to push down mid.
Gonna push forwards further and further right here. Mid lane, bot lane taking a lot of heat at the moment. Remember, the 6 grubs went over to EDG earlier on, so they are going to melt through these towers. You can see it right here. This bot lane at tier 3 going to fall so very soon. 2 Baron empowered cannon minions firing onto it. Here goes LGD.
Resist on. Combined with the public execution on, going to be taken low, taken down by Sasa. It's 2 kills onto EDG, but what will the response be here for ZDZ? Zhao and ZDZ still so tanky here on this front line. XQW running the wrong way. The Baron empowered minions are going to take him down. It's a double kill for Angel, who gets the last hit on that one. Well, here, level 17 on the Victor. 3 full items in his own right. As the Elder Dragon has spawned, and EDG are going to start it up.
Let's see, are any LGD members going to be able to find their way in? It's very much going to be on Nio and Sasa to find that engage, that moment. Where can you go?
He gets locked out. He pops the stopwatch, though, so he's going to stay alive for just a little bit. 3-man knockup, though, does connect here for LGD, but ZDZ's in the backline, but the Dominus already popped. Xiaoya finally has the spell shield taken away. Public she doesn't find anything, but the health bars on EDG are low. YCX could be the first one to fall, though. XQW flashes forward, lands the charm on Angel. YCX the headbutt pulled, but will finally go down to be the first casualty. Sasa headed back to base. He's going to try to teleport back in with full HP to make it a bit of an even fight for LGD. They've already lost a member, but Zhao is still at full full health. The Elder Dragon at 4,000 HP. It's gonna be a flip. Who's gonna get it? It's secured by EDG. The Elder Dragon belongs to them, and then their members will drop like flies. 3 already down. XQW the last one surviving, and he won't be for any much longer in this game. Edward Gaming picked themselves up the ace. They're gonna march down the mid lane and hand LGD their first loss in Group Nirvana.
EDG, they secure themselves at least split number 3. They will not be eliminated from the LPL for the rest of 2025. It was on a knife's edge right there. It could have been either jungler's Elder, but it's picked up by Xiao Hao after a masterclass in the jungle early on. With a victory right here, LGD.
Here for On, provide a little bit more extra hard engage. I think overall BLG have set themselves up with a really nice composition that, you know, they can roam around the map a little bit with this mid jungle and get the side lanes ahead, which will allow them to win once we get into these mid-game fights.
This is a very standard this match. You're going to be able to head straight over towards those ones. Can there be any potential steal? Weibo would love to be able to grab even one of them right now.
Or will it just be an even trade? They're setting up Era as a scout right now to start things out. Well, 2 of the grubs have been secured, but it looks like BLG actually okay with giving up all of them. Or here comes Hero's entrance in from Zhao, who had knocked up 2 away with a crescent guard already, though it knocks a bunch of people away. He flashes down with the side. Impale goes on a 2. Come out with the pop blossom. That's first blood going over to Weibo Gaming. They get themselves a second with Bin dropping. But now, Elixir with a free fire. Knight's coming in with the teleport as well. The big carries for BLG trying to do some work to come back here in this team fight. Breathe very low. He flashes away here from the continued Q, and the piercing arrow is dodged as well. On the other side of things, it's going to be On in trouble as Tian chases him down. The rock doesn't connect, but the Prey Seeker will. 3-1 in favor of Weibo.
Oh, that full fight from Weibo was a complete mess, but they just decide, hey, we could go in. They managed to grab themselves that final grub. Not quite. Now they're going to be able to grab themselves that final grub and then just go flying in. It all starts with that public execution for Breathe. I really hope that we get to see a replay of that fight because it's the wombo combo we were hoping for at 13 minutes into the game. So before any of the real item breakpoints come through, before you actually deal that much damage, and that's the real issue that you run into as Weibo. There's multiple moments in that fight where they kind of run out of damage and have to turn around, run away, wait for some cooldowns to reapply. Here we go. So initial, really well played to be able to just grab up an opponent right there with that public execution. It's very easy to miss that straight up, straight into the Galio ulti and straight into the Pop Blossom right here out of Erha. The first 2 kills are easy enough, but it's at this point where you've kind of blown everything and you are running a little bit out of damage. Elk is dealing some decent damage. Knight nearly takes Breathe out as well, but because you managed to find that initial bit of engage, take out the top and jungle of your opponents, well, there isn't really too much more to do. That was a very nice snipe to cap off the fight.
So, it's 1 extra grub going over to Weibo, plus that team fight that we just watched, obviously. 2 of those 3 kills. Going over to Light on this Kaisa, that's big because of what we have already said. Weibo's composition desperately needs Light to get ahead.
Yeah.
They won't have any chance of winning this one. As for BLG, Elk gets a couple of kills, or Elk gets a kill. It's not bad, but you wish it was a little bit more than that because they got so close to actually turning that one around.
Yeah, absolutely. They were so nearly there. And this is a team composition that also doesn't particularly spike at that point. Wei was in a strong spot, but just got 1 tapped to begin the fight off. On actued jumped straight over the wall to get Tian.
They just immediately knew it was Erha.
To get Erha,
and that means that Wei will take him down. So the support here for Weibo Gaming out of the picture here. Light going a little bit too forward as well. Jumps straight into the audacious charge of Wei. 3-man impale from Tian, combined with the public execution, and that's just gonna wipe BLG off the face of the map. Wei stuck in a 1v4 to try to pick up 1 kill in response, but will not be able to find it. A double kill in for Light, and Weibo with 2 massive skirmishes in a row.
Yeah, you're gonna be more than happy with just picking up that kill onto Erha. And despite the fact that, yeah, he dies, everything after that goes Weibo's way. We talked about it, right? This is a composition that really needed to get ahead early, needed the damage to be able to come through, otherwise it just does not work out. In this situation, yeah, On flashing over the wall as well means that there's no way to get back out of this one. There's no way to get away from the impale that comes on through. And this is gorgeous right here from Tian. Exactly what we have been asking for from these Skarners. Flash, impale, 3 members dragged in. Bin and Wei, they recognize that there's really no way they should be stepping up here. Unfortunately, Wei does also get caught on the backside of this fight. That means that the Drake is 100% going to go over to Weibo. And BLG's jungle struggles continue.
Yeah, just a little bit over-aggressive there. It looked like originally a nice pick, but they saw Tian on a ward. They knew that reinforcements would have been on the way. Speaking of reinforcements, now Bin could be in some trouble here in the mid lane. Gets hit up by the Tango Barb, just gets one shot before he can do anything here. Already 8-2 in terms of kill score towards Weibo Gaming. It looks like BLG will get one back as Tian does fall. Shut down going the way of Elk. But right now, Weibo in massive control of this game. They're up 3,000 gold. They have 5 kills on Light and are pushing on both side lanes at the same time.
Exactly, and because of that, it feels like nobody from BLG knows exactly where to go. With the enemy jungler down, you'd think maybe they're going to be able to head up towards the top side of the map and grab that Rift Herald, but just not going to be the case at the moment. This is a composition from BLG that spikes pretty hard at this 2-item point, but that's the point at which Weibo Gaming are absolutely online. And right now, with them in treating them so well at the moment, they do at least have Darkness to play around. Maybe as Weibo, you just concede this one. You're not particularly worried about giving over this Herald.
Maybe they are. Teleport comes in. It's going to be Xiao Hu joining the fight. Immediately, they try to turn their attention towards Tian as he's the one in most danger of a steal. Arrow's Pop Blossom only finds one with the public execution from Breathe. It finds the priority target, and Elk's already out of the picture. Now it's Wei getting knocked into the wall by the Ixtal's impact. The second kill finds the way of Light. And now it's the rest of BLG on the run. The Herald not even going in favor of BLG at the end of the day. It's Weibo picking up that and 2 more kills. Knight trying to save something here by using the Weaver's Wall to get on over here. But the priority still remains much on Weibo's side.
Very much so, and with this Rift Herald available, the 4 grubs to this mid lane tower takes a ton of damage. Not quite going to go down on this initial push. Knight's way. And unfortunately, in this sort of game where BLG have got themselves on, who's hopefully that tanky front line, and gets the flash out of Elk right there. Breathe on point with these. And Wei hopefully strong enough to be able to go in and be a bit of that front line too. If that's not the case, if Wei isn't healing enough, once he's in and amongst members, don't take that. What? Huh?
Flashes forward. They're looking for Erha. Depth charge on to Breathe. The Chain of Corruption has come out. Era is very low. Wei dashing forward again, but there's no reinforcement for the rest of BLG. Bin is just way too late. He gets stunned in the wall with the Ixtal's impact, and now he's isolated. It's a double kill in for Breathe. Taunt from Xiao Hu lands on a 2. BLG are just going in one by one and getting annihilated by Weibo. Already a 4 for 1 as only Era has fallen. The mid lane tier 1 will drop, and Weibo dominating this first game.
They're going to be able to pull back and grab themselves this Drake as well. Hextech Drake, such a strong one to be able to grab as an individual or as a soul. Weibo, complete and utter control of this game.
Part of me is like saying that Weibo's doing good, but the other part of me is wondering why BLG are looking for these sorts of engages, and now Wei's gonna get caught out again. He gets taunted up by Xiao Hu and taken down. That is sure to be the Otacon, if not more, if Weibo don't continue to overextend. Light gets hit up by the depth charge, flashes straight into the hook of On. Pyrotechnics comes out, but the re-engage and the damage is just too big on Weibo's side. Breathe, picking up a solo kill onto Elk, and now Tian dashing forward and finding another knock up here on the Bin. Everybody on BLG's continuing to drop. Knight the lone survivor here, but he's stuck underneath his inhibitor tower as Weibo are still 5 strong.
Yeah, they've got a wave pushing in this top lane as well, so this top lane tier 2 tower very likely to fall right here. They don't even have the ability to peel back to go get the Baron because it isn't up for another 2 minutes. Instead, just going to be the Atachan, the prize right here for Weibo on top of the kills they were able to grab. And why they need a shake-up somewhere, whether it's just through strategy or through moving personnel around. Something has to change. BLG, they've got higher aspirations than being middle of the pack here in the LPL. Knight, don't step up here, has to insta-flash away. That's a big cooldown to now be away. Wei also taking massive damage. Here goes Tian.
Yeah, they have been very Otacon here, so they can go very aggressive without much risk at all. Tian, very low HP, but already Light picks up that first kill onto On. Already 1 revive here, but here comes the killer racing forward from Light. Picks himself up a double kill, and potentially looking for more. The blast cone out will send everybody on Weibo back out to safety, and they will be able to head back to base after picking up 2 kills for free.
Okay, Erha also going to be able to survive. It's a bit of an aggressive play there. BLG stepping up into their jungle, but it's no longer theirs to walk through uncontested. Weibo just complete control in this game right now. And the other thing I would really like to call out for making this interesting composition work is the build path that we're seeing right here out of Breathe. Usually, you see the Eclipse on the Ambessa, which gives you some extra survivability, but not quite as much damage. No, this is full aggression right here. Shojin, Youmuu's, and then the Edge of Night has just been completed for that extra little bit of survivability, but also a ton of damage too. And I think this is what you really needed. You needed a threat from another angle, because it otherwise was very much just going to be the Kai'Sa. Light has played this one out excellent, but so has Breathe. He's been on point with these ultis every time he's either landing it or he's getting a flash out of his opponents.
I don't know if you see the Cyclosword as part of this build as well, but it looks like...
Are we gonna get there?
Maybe next item. Maybe that's 4th here. But, I mean, it's 20-4. Part of me is like, maybe he just decided to build lethality because he realized the game was over. I don't know.
He was going towards this pretty early on, although that would be funny too, to be like, yeah, I don't need extra survivability. I mean, you're in a composition, right, where you've got yourself a Skarner and a Galio. You don't have to be the survivability option. You don't need to be the tank here. You can go and be a main damage threat. 4-0-10, an incredibly impressive performance at this point. Baron has now finally joined us on the Rift. BLG once again stepping up, but they need to be careful. They really don't own this jungle at the moment. And Weibo, they can either start this one up and finish it, or they can peel off and go look for a fight. They've been loving the team fight so far.
Hey, you're up 9,000 gold. Might as well just try to force a fight, force BLG to come towards you, because it's going to go relatively well. You don't just completely screw things up. Baron's at half HP. Tien, he's got to make sure he lands that final smite, or at least push way away from the pit to make sure there's no chance at a steal. The fight's going to begin here immediately before the Baron gets really taken low. Immediately, Bin is taken down. Wei pops the Crescent Guard. Light's very low HP with the Pop Blossom from Era, doing a lot of work. Knight finally gets one back. This could be BLG's opportunity here. The Impale lands onto just one, and Weibo still going to take control here of this team fight. Elk gonna just be continuously caught out, taken down here by Light. Only Knight surviving. He'll pick up a 1K shutdown, but that's all he will get as an ace gets picked up for Weibo Gaming once again.
The death timers are getting pretty long at this point, but I don't think the push is going to come through. The main damage threats have gone down right here for Weibo. It was a slightly better fight for BLG overall, but at this point they're so far behind, the wallet diff beginning to come through. They just losing right now. The dragon has now spawned. This is practically going to be do or die here for BLG.
Yeah, they're going to have to find the dream fight that they have yet to open up with. On really gets caught out here by a bit of a death rush. No vision in this area of the map right now for BLG. They're going to have to go in blind. Initially finding the hook on a Xiaohu, but On could be in some trouble afterwards. Breathe on the flank. Looking maybe for the public execution, but BLG are stacked up as 5 and making sure that nobody can go and get singled out. Era gonna go forward to Pop Blossom. The dragon is secured by Tien. That's the Hextech Soul going over to Weibo. They already have taken down Wei, and now could be looking for more. On still very low on HP. The Excel's impact, finding Knight. There's the hero's entrance to try to respond here. Knight will go down. Light finds the kill. Bin the next to follow. Already 3 kills picked up, make it 4. And Elk may soon to be the final nail in the coffin here for Billy Gaming. He gets hit up by the Tangle Barbs. Light will claim the kill and go golden for a little bit extra swag. 30-6 is the scoreline right now for Weibo Gaming as they'll push right down mid and try to take control of game number 1.
This is going to be a clean ace right here for Weibo. They've just been better in the team fights. They've been better overall than BLG. And with 20 seconds until anybody with real wave clear is back up and available, this will be game number 1. Weibo, they want to move beyond being even right now. They want to take control of that 5th spot right now in Group Ascent. They want to send BLG down.
Well, but Haddock and the KDAs, one more kill over to Tien.
Champion's been good on these. Enchanter's been good on the engage supports. The Rel is the top available pick. I would have loved to have seen the Blitzcrank, but it would have been way too risky, I think, in this situation. And the Rel here does just round out this bot lane. You're probably not going to be able to win out in the 2v2, but Erha can potentially just go join up with Tian and get onto the game is a dive onto bot lane. They've been using it to great effect, although Bin has been on the receiving end of a lot of the counter plays on the backside of the map. We'll have to see if this is what's going to happen, because right now there are no camps for you in this area. You're going to have to dive to make this worth your time.
This especially, yeah, because Tian's already on the other side of the map. He's getting the faster clear, so now Wei has to respond with the gank here onto Light. The Jin has no flash, but the Deadly Flourish comes down. On will drop, and so will maybe one more, but the tower aggro was juggled beautifully. It is a 1-for-1 with Elk going down, but it's going to start doing even more damage. You're okay with where we're at, even though technically you're at a deficit.
Just a very slight one at the moment, nothing too worrying, especially not when you're into the sort of composition who's got to find some pretty tricky to hit straight up engages. Xiaohu needs to run here. Do they know? Yeah, they know. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Xiaohu has been exposed. Weirding in, nice flash from on.
Nice.
He's going to force the flash away from Xiaohu as well. Just a little bit of shenanigans up there in the top side. Gonna be trying to match here with Bin. You know, potential 1v2 with Erha and Breathe. Erha's waiting to land that flash. Oh, nicely done for a dodge away from Bin, but Light has arrived to the fight as well. Definitely not gonna be a fair one here for Bin. He's able to do a lot of damage back. No more procs to the needlework though, and Erha's gonna be the one to pick it up.
A few missed skill shots just there, as now Tian actually flashing forwards in this situation. He's in a 3v1 right now. He doesn't care.
LG, Weibo, not there just yet to respond, although here comes their bottom lane. 5 grubs immediately picked up here for BLG, so
yeah,
at the very least they're going to get that significant advantage, but it looks like Tian's going to be able to close this one out for his team and make sure that not all of them go over here to the blue side.
Yeah, things going to slow down just a little bit at this point. Though breathing on, actually stepping up.
Oh, Erha on a flank as well, landing that Magnus Storm immediately here onto Bin, and Bin just gets taken down. That's the Feats of Warfare picked up for Weibo Gaming. The first shot of the curtain call will take that away, and Elk gets to flash on out of there, or shift on out of there. A 2-for-0 fight going Weibo's way after giving up 2 of the 3 grubs.
I really thought things were going to slow down just there, but now we see these explosive plays that give over to the majority of top laners, and yet 0-2-0 right now, just not effective.
It's one of the best top laners in the world. This was our featured matchup of the day coming in, Bin versus Breathe, but right now it's really Bin. Breathe taking control of this one, and a Grand Starfall comes in from Tian, looking to try to take down Elk and On, who once again are overextended for BLG. No flash, no shift, that's Tian getting another kill, and Weibo Gaming once again off to a blazing starting game 2.
That's a really nice bit of layer, a little bit of push down on towards this Mountain Drake. It's the first Drake of the game, and it's 14 minutes into the game. Usually we see these picked up way earlier on. BLG, the saving grace for themselves right now is that they're able to grab this Drake, they're able to grab 5 of the grubs, so the neutral objective step up and face check a brush. Who's able to try to face check around an objective? The answer really is nobody, whereas Weibo, they've got themselves a couple of tankier members, they've got a ton of damage to be able to deal with something like the Jarvan as well. It's a good pick.
Completely thought he was safe, although he was right on a ward once again, using the empowered mantra W to try to get some healing, but it's not enough. His light shuts him down with the forced shot. Now a teleport comes in from BLG, but it might just be a little bit too late. Knight going to join the fight. We already watched 2 of his players fall by the wayside. Bin already utilizing needlework, so no more ultimate here for the Gwen. Deadly Flourish dodged away from the Ahri. Now the curtain call has been issued. Elk gets hit up by the second and the third. The forced shot will be dodged away from Elk, beautifully getting away from any damage here from the Jin, but he's not going to get away from the Pantheon as the Kamashir will shut him down, and Knight has used his final proc of the Spirit Rush to try to escape as well.
And Knight just about going to be the survivor from all of that bloodbath. Bin even has to cancel his recall right here, a little bit of extra insult to injury, and Weibo, they're just fighting so much better. 8-1 in terms of the kills, they're going to be up by 3,000 gold as well, and it all starts with On thinking that he's safe and just getting a one-tap to right there by Light. So much damage on that 4th shot, and it's again BLG, they don't recognize on the map where they are safe, where they are not, losing track of where the vision is. This is a total team collapse from BLG that we were not expecting. Yeah, we knew that they were on a little bit of slides, but they are getting embarrassed by Weibo so far.
I mean, not even the FPX games, I feel like, look this rough here. As again, On just not pressing the sweeper button, or just being really out of position, one or the other.
And it just carries on, right? There's nothing too fancy that happens here. A couple of nice hit skill shots, you know. Very good aggression. Hang on, breathe.
Looking for some sort of opportunity to go for a fight. Erha does crash down away. Charm does land up to Xiaohu. Between worlds, though, will get him out again. As Xiaohu continuously, seemingly, gets cut off, but will not be able to go down. He still has not died yet in this game. And it will come at the cost of this tier 1 tower down to the bottom lane. But Weibo Gaming not losing a life just yet. Still going to be very good for them. Only one death issued. It's on to Light.
Not again on.
And now On's going to get catched out here by Erha, who's looking for a flank. Rift Herald, by the way, also taken on this top side by Weibo Gaming. And Tian can join the fight with a Grand Starfall if he wants. So BLG going to continue to push here onto this tier 2. They at least get that. Take it, use his flash last time the Cataclysm was available for Wei. And here they go. They're going to try it again. Flag and Drag does connect. Nice play here by BLG. They finally get an answer here, back on to Breathe, and will continue their domination here of the turrets at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, they've now picked themselves up another turret and a kill. They've brought this gold lead back down to only being about 1,000. And this is bad from Weibo, actually. They are not getting involved in this game anywhere near enough. They've kind of allowed the game to start happening to them for a little while. Yes, you lost 5 of the grubs, so the tower taking potential is very potent for BLG, but it's still surprising to see the way that they have conceded so much space, so much pressure across the map when they were winning out on these skirmishes so effectively early on. Now, you can see first items completed on everybody, second item now completed on both Tian and Light, so these two are going to be incredibly strong, and they can potentially go and try to play around this Drake. It's only going to be the second Drake of the game, despite the fact we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah, not really been the focus really for either of these teams. Weibo, the ones that started off, remember BLG were going to pick up first Dragon of the game, and so they're okay with just giving this one over. So Weibo controlled this one.
Things have expanded back out once again. 3k the gold lead right now for Weibo.
And that's what has to be the plan here for BLG. If you're going to send somebody out forward in a side lane, you need to have some cover for him, whether it's Wei hovering around the area or maybe On going to push down here. They're looking for Xiaohu, who once again gets rooted up here by the W of On, tries to get into the other side of the ultimate, but actually will not be able to. So finally, Xiaohu is the one who gets caught out here, and BLG once again back on the board with another pick. They're going to head over to this Otacon, and there's nobody on Weibo's side to contest it.
Now we're going to get the Rift Herald popped that's been in inventory for a while for Tian. Bin also potentially could get jumped right here. Obviously, still has the Gwen, is immune, though.
Magnus Storm with so far. Bin trying to outplay a 1v3, but in goes Tian with the Grand Starfall. So it will be a shutdown going on to the Gwen, or just a regular kill, I should say, as Breathe will break open this top lane tier 2 turret. Again, coming at the cost of this Ruinous Otacon. But Weibo's still feeling pretty happy about where things are. The Goldie continuing to be in their favor, and they could be very happy if they get a kill here onto Elk and On. The fourth shot is shifted away from as Elk barely is able to dodge away from that one. But another kill in the hands of Weibo Gaming, and they're going to continue to push into the base.
Yeah, they absolutely can. They've got a big wave right here in the top side. They've got a wave pouring in through the mid lane as well. And because the Atakan took so long to take for BLG, they're just not going to be able to get back for this one. Off the back of Atakan picked up for BLG, they're going to lose out on a couple thousand gold. The gold lead expands right here to about 5,000. TP behind coming through. Interesting.
Knight's going to try to cut him off. Already some backs have been channeled. The target right now is going to be Light. He has both summoner spells, waiting to use that charm. It doesn't hit anyway. And now Wei will finally use that Cataclysm, but Light still flashes on out. The flag and drag comes through. Finally, a shutdown will find the way of Wei, but it'll be traded right back as Tian will get one in response. So both AD carry and mid lane are down on opposite sides. Now the junglers are dueling it out. Bin here to try to respond. It'll be a 2-for-1 in favor of BLG, as now Weibo might be the one sloppy. But as I say that, Elk gets stunned up here by Era, and Zhao should have enough damage to try to take him down. It'll be the Rel to finish off the kill.
TP also coming in right here. Bin gonna rejoin in this mid lane play.
Now the question is, will BLG feel strong enough to try to fight for that? They could just give it up, because remember, Weibo is still very far away from the soul. But maybe they want to fight it. I don't know. Bin has 2 completed items now, the Nashor's Tooth and the Riftmaker in inventory. You can say the same about all the other carries here for BLG. They want to risk it. Oh, yeah, Starfall comes out. It's going to be Bin caught out here by both Xiaohu and Tian, and Erha on the way as well. They're sending the whole barn in onto Bin. Will the Gwen be able to buy enough time? pops the Shroud, will be immune for a little bit longer, finally has reached the rest of his team. The Needlework comes out, but it's far too late. The kill goes into Tian's arms, and now it's the rest of BLG that are going to try to find this fight in their favor, and they find their first kill into Tian with a nicely used Cataclysm from Wei, but the response from Breathe is big. The Shock Blast takes down the Jarvan, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Weibo Gaming.
And they lose out onto their jungler Weibo, so that might dissuade the Dragon from going on. Looks like BLG want to keep playing, though.
Oh, on. He walks right into the waiting arms of Eraha, and now Knight's in trouble as well. They cancel the backs, but they're just going to die for it. 2 more for Weibo, and it might be 3. A nice engage from Eraha. Elk forced to use the Blast Cone away. He dodges away from the Deadly Flourish and tries to use the Q to get them like there's no damage just yet. BLG still feel like they're too far behind. Knight on this, tanky, bruisery Ari build with the Rod of Ages. Elk not fully getting to his 3rd item just yet. Bin dying too early before he can do anything.
By not taking that initial Drake for ages, but now Bin stepping up. We've seen this one before.
Here comes Tian, dashes away, but is not going to dodge away from the stun. Gets away from the Shock Blast though. Bin doing a lot of damage back with the Needlework. Trying to answer back here in a 1v2. Meanwhile, the rest of BLG pushing down mid, knowing that they do not have 2 of their members as they are both on the bottom side. With the 5 grubs, BLG are able to get 1 tower back, and Weibo don't get anything in for it. It's going to take a little bit more work. They've been finding some opportunities. Will this be finally the turn that they need? Hera's looking for the flank. Not going to be able to find or pop that engage. They want to wait things out just a little bit longer here. A lot of tools at BLG's disposal.
Yeah.
You don't want to utilize any of them yet.
They have to be very careful, Tian. Going to be looking for that initial bit of engage. Elk just has to insta-flash away from him right here.
And now using the Spirit Guard as well, so now Wei can re-engage here with the Cataclysm. Zhao is the flash away. Tian a half HP. Here comes Bin, looking to do some damage with the Needlework. It's a 1-for-1 though, as Tian will fall, but the Gwen will too. The curtain call's been opened up. Era still looking for 1 more engage. Wei gets hit by the 4th shot, but it's not enough to take him down just yet. Just a 1-for-1 across the map, but everybody on Weibo still just a little bit healthier here. On, looking to try and buy some space here with the Mantra Q, trying to slow down Weibo on their continued push, and they will force BLG to head back to base.
Yeah, the fact that you lose the jungler here in Tian means you really can't keep stepping up into this situation. It was a well-played fight from Bin, actually. He really needed to make that one a 1-for-1, otherwise it was just going to get taken out and probably losing out onto the game. Weibo could have moved up towards the Baron for themselves. Instead, now it's going to be plays right here around the Drake. Tian going to be up in 5 seconds time and does have himself that Grand Starfall, so he can come and rejoin the rest of his team very quickly.
It's going to be the Dragon despite Tian not being there. So Soul Point, Chemtech Soul Point here for Weibo. Even though the Chemtech Soul is not the flashiest one. Yeah, Elk's had a pretty quiet game, but he's suddenly becoming one of the most important parts of this BLG composition. Again, he's been one of the more consistent players on this team despite some of their struggles throughout the later half of this 1st round robin. Now approaching that 4th item, Bloodthirster, still very strong here. BLG considering starting up the Baron, but I think they know better than to do that. As now Weibo hovering around this mid lane. Era's gonna get collapsed upon. He might have gone a little bit too far forward. Wei does have the Cataclysm, but they don't know if they want to fully burn it on just the support. There goes Bin. He dashes forward for a little bit more. They found Light. He still has his flash. Doesn't want to use it just yet. Finally, will issue it once Tether comes out from on.
You can start up the Baron almost immediately as BLG. Oh, they stepped away. They've left
so risky, though, because you could lose your whole base if you go a little bit too far. Speaking of, though, you could lose your top laner right now. Bin nearly taken down Breathe with the Needlework, plus the tower damage, but now he has to go golden as the rest of Weibo have responded on the bottom side. Bin somehow still alive, pops another QSS to try to keep himself up and healthy, and now here comes Wei. Cataclysm under Light. The Light has no flash. Billy Gaming, do you believe the turnaround here in game number 2? Xiaohu will drop. It is a 4-for-0 for BLG.
Oh, BLG, they're going to be able to pull this one back around. 50 seconds on the majority of the carries right here. Tian, the only remaining member, and with those 5 grubs and a Gwen, looks like this one is going to be picked up. Yeah, I feel like they can push forwards for the end, right? 40 seconds on Xiaohu, 35 on Light, and you just melt through these towers. We're going to be going to a game 3.
Power of the Genshin, did the game just end like that? An overextension from Weibo on the bottom lane, and it was Bin and then the rest of the team to finish off this game. Tian has fallen. Nobody's alive. The Nexus is exposed, and we might just be headed to a game number 3. Era's the only member alive to watch his Nexus fall. BLG are gonna be lock in here for On, as BLG want to try to disrupt what Weibo are doing. Weibo have a full front-to-back composition. They want to just throw out their ultimates, go for the front-to-back team fight, whereas BLG also want to play to the late game, but they want to try to find picks of their own. Use the Nocturne to single out a single target. Let Elk get a reset.
For the junglers quite yet, so we're still waiting on those very powerful tools to be able to come through.
Should be this first dragon picked up basically for no problem. Again, it was traded by those first 3 grubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Things have been a little bit rough so far, but this is kind of what you expect. A lot of hope coming through. Yeah, and having his red buff stolen away. There's the engage.
Already going for the engage. Nice pulverize. Pushed out by Erha to make sure that that fear doesn't connect. Still some damage to be done. Xiaohu on the way. Slilting Lullaby only on to the Kassadin. And the Super Mega Death Rock lands onto Blight. Here comes Xiaohu, looking for potentially a shockwave. It finds 2, and he goes right into Knight's Flash, and First Blood is picked up by Weibo Gaming. They get a second one with Knight dropping as well, and On's on the run, on the wrong side of the map. There's no chance of him escaping this one, as the aggression from BLG proves disastrous off of the invade. Xiaohu will finish off this kill and make it 3-0 Weibo.
This one's going to be picked up relatively easily right there by Xiaohu. They managed to get themselves the Feats of Warfare.
Thankfully, none of them losing their lives. This proceeded, lands on a 2. Oh, the Lilting Lullaby is going to come out. Oh, what a huge Keeper's Verdict from On. It might save Elk's life.
The burn.
Continues to burn down, and Faded Ashes plus the Leandries will have our 4th kill to go over towards Tian, but it could have been a lot worse.
Things stalled out, and they threw the game away. In this game, when you've got a Kassadin and a Jinx on the other side, you cannot afford to let things stall out. Weibo, they're going to have to keep the tempo high.
Knight has not gone after the start that he wanted. Down a little bit in CS. He just picks up his Rod of Ages. It's going to be a while until it becomes a real threat.
Oh yeah, you are very much waiting. Decides to go all in straight onto this Orianna. Maybe there's a chance you're going to be able to survive that one long enough to at least return the kill, if not live through the assault. And now 14 or so minutes into this game. Erha might be caught here. He's pretty deep and kind of have been abandoned by the rest of his friends.
He does have the Unbreakable Will to try to keep himself alive, but On is on the flank. Should be able to use the Heroic Charge backwards. Oh, what a flash from Erha to get himself on out of there. And now Wei's going forward with the Paranoia. That was just ill-advised, as Wei gets nothing off of that play. Level Erha. So when that 16 becomes unlocked, even at 11, it's a decent power spike right now. The Dragon's going to be taken here by Weibo. That is Soul Point, Mountain Soul Point at that for them.
To where you're sending your junglers, yes, you've got some good movement ability from Wei to get himself over to objectives quickly, but you still don't want to put yourself into a bad situation here.
Right now, BLG still looking for their first kill. This could be it here as an ultimate comes down from Wei, forcing a flash from the Orianna. Xiaohu gonna use the shockwave in response, though, and almost trying to take down Wei. The Mikhail's gonna save Wei's life, but that was oh so close. Response is a bot lane tower tier 1 taken, but now it is Elk in a lot of trouble here. This World Seas dodged away from, but this Jinx sure to not live for very much longer unless he gets some support. Bin comes in with the teleport, and Elk will live. As we
turn it around.
Being very patient. He's very far away. Knight on the other side of the map is going to pick up this tower and then likely teleport to try and join a fight. As Weibo are starting up this dragon again. It'll be Mountain Soul if they can pick it up. Keeper's Verdict is being issued by On. They're going to try and maybe cancel somebody here, but it ends up not going fully through. Dragon's at half HP. Again, Weibo desperately want this Mountain Soul early. Dominus already be popped by Bin. Things have to go quickly now. The Paranoia has already been used by Wei. And so right now that means that Weibo can maybe stall this one out a little bit more. Keeper's Verdict comes out.
Oh no!
The jungler away! And that means that BLG might be able to take this one away. It's Knight that steals the dragon, but everybody on his team has fallen by the wayside. It's already 2 kills in favor of Weibo Gaming. And Tian gonna try to chase Knight down. Use the Riftwalk to try to escape, but he is caught between a ton of members of Weibo. And Elk and Bin have no reason to try to keep him alive.
We wait for the next Drake to spawn. The fact that it was picked up right there by Knight. Wei wasn't even able to snipe that one away. on.
What started up here by Weibo and already at half HP. Wei gonna have to paranoia into the pit, but Erha is looking here on a flank, looking to try to disrupt all of BLG from going in. Weibo have pulled away from the Baron and are now looking for the fight. Nice flash away from Elk to get away from the shockwave. And now BLG will be able to keep themselves alive for now. Slice and dice out for Bin. Lilting Lullaby not issued just yet as Stiannis continues to be on the chase. He flashes into the bot lane. Gonna be cleansed away from here by Elk and on. And nobody has died just yet for BLG. They have done a tremendous job in keeping themselves all up.
Still though, you get to pull away, potentially go play around this Baron once again, and a couple of the key abilities were used. Specifically, Elk's flash is now going to be down for the next 4 minutes.
Components of the Zhonya's but not fully completed right now is Knight as he heads into the pit to try to make it a 5v5 around the Dragon Pit. Oh, things are so tense.
This is just
the
gonna
series
burn.
on the line right now. The vision just not
gone.
on Weibo's side. Are they just going to give this away? Paranoia comes out. Wade's gonna have to get in there somehow, some way. Who's gonna get in? It's the by Weibo Gaming. The Keeper's Verdict came out just a little bit too late, but the bullet time is not gonna do enough. The kill is on to Light, and now BLG gonna try to win this one despite the soul going over. Elk's excited. Elk's online. Elk try to win this one. Bin flashing over. Finds the stun of the Xiaohu. Elk gets another reset here as finally BLG are on the board, but they're looking a little
the TP.
A teleport's coming in, and TN is taking over this team fight. Is just too damn big on the deer. Trying to chase down Knight as the last remaining survivor on BLG. But Weibo Gaming.
Until Wei is back up. Without a paranoia, he won't be able to get into this pit, and it is just going to be Baron picked up right here for Weibo. They pulled this game through. It looked a little bit iffy for a couple of seconds, especially once the level 16 was hit right here out of Wei. Hexplate into GA. He does no damage. I mean, negative damage at this point. He's probably going to be healing Light or Xiaohu when he hits them. He is just a light switch at this point in the game.
We're going for a mega flank right now. As a
He's not even going to find it, though.
They're going to be so far away. This fight's going to take so long to try to break out. They ult away the Alistar, and here comes the Paranoia, but nobody's going down. Light just keeps himself alive the entire goddamn time. 4 for nothing. Elk will drop. It's a clean ace in a 4v5 situation for Weibo Gaming, as they will end their first round robin with an absolute exclamation point. A 15-2 dominant Game 3 victory over Billy to end their first round robin at 5-4.
It takes them 3 games, but Weibo gonna come out on top right